Pollination. Pollination is the transfer of pollen from the anther to the stigma of a flowering plant. In wind pollination, pollen is released by the stamen into the air and carried by wind so it can fall onto the stigma of another plant. Adaptations for pollination include producing larger amounts of lightweight, fine-grained pollen for easier and further dispersion, and also by producing flowers with extended stigmas. Insect pollination involves insects, most commonly bees, moving from flower to flower, transporting and gathering pollen from an anther to a stigma. Adaptations include producing brightly colored and scented petals to attract bees. Other animals, such as birds, carry pollen between plants. This happens when animals inadvertently pick up pollen and deposit it onto the other receptive flowers. Plants have adapted to produce larger stamens and stigma, and also stickier pollen which clings to the feathers and furs to create a more reliable and efficient fertilization. Seed dispersal. Seed dispersal is the dispersion of seeds from the parent plant. In the desert, grasses such as the feathergrass speargrass have adapted to produce minuscule seeds with fine hairs. They are so light that they can be picked up and carried by the slightest breeze. The more common bindi plant relies on animals for its seed dispersion. The bindi plants have modified over time so that their seeds have sharp spikes which attach themselves to passing animals. When picked out by the animals, the seed is left on the soil and germinates. Other plants such as sheepspur use animal for its seed dispersal. The seeds of sheepspur have hooks that stick to the furs of animals and can be then carried over larger distances for a wider range of places to germinate. The acacia's native raspberry is a plant that uses ants for its seed dispersal. An efficient adaptation by this plant to ensure its dispersion was the coating placed on its seeds to avoid digestion by ants that carry and eat its fruit. Some plants such as black palm use water for its dispersal. This plant releases its seeds through fruits which nearby streams carry away. The seed is soon embedded in sand or soil and germinates. Asexual reproduction. Many plants go through this process of asexual reproduction, which is a form of reproduction without fusion or gametes. One way of doing this is through binary fission. Binary fission involves single-celled organisms. Every time they undergo mitosis, they create two new genetically identical daughter cells. This is relevant for prokaryote organisms such as bacteria and algae. Another form of asexual reproduction is the formation of spores. Spore formation is the production of thousands of single-celled spores that develop and grow into new individuals. Ferns such as the Australian tree fern use spores for asexual reproduction. Other plants like the Vendella rose use vegetative propagation to reproduce, which consists of flowering plants producing new plants from points called nodes. A new plant arises without the need for seeds or spores and involves no mixing of genes from plants. When a cutoff from a stem or root is put in the ground, the plant will grow and thrive.